The X-Zone radio and TV show is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone radio and TV show or in any manner endorsed by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, Talkstar Radio Network, its affiliated stations, or employees.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Nobody can tell you there's only one song worth singing. They may try and sell you 'cause it hangs them up to see someone like you. But you've gotta make your own kind of music, sing your own special song, make your own kind of music, even if nobody else sings along. You're gonna be nowhere, the loneliest kind of lonely. It may be rough going just to do your thing, the hardest thing to do. But you gotta make.
And welcome to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, and for the next 4 hours, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to be your host and your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that we call the X Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern, right here live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network, X Zone TV, and on shortwave, as well as our family of broadcast affiliates across Canada, the United States, Central America, the Caribbean, South America, the Pacific Rim, and now the X Zone is in 20 Asian countries on satellite Aglia 2. If you'd like to give us a call, our toll-free number is 1-877-528-8255. That's toll-free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii at 1-877-528-8255. My email address is xzone@talkstarradio.com. On MSN Messenger, talkstarradio@hotmail.com. And our two websites, www.xzoneradio.com and www.xzonetv.com. Earlier this morning, the X Chronicles newspaper were sent electronically to the masses around the world. Now, if you did not get your copy, and you'd like to get a copy, it's absolutely free. Just send an email to xzone@talkstarradio.com. That's xzone@talkstarradio.com and say, hey, Rob, could you send me a copy of the X Chronicles electronic edition? Now, it's 4 megabytes. It's in a PDF file. It's in full color, 44 pages. And we've been getting some real super reviews from people who have read it as well as our advertisers. So, to one and all, thanks very much. On tonight's show, my first guest will be John Horgan. He's the gentleman behind the Mass Monster Mash and Mass UFO Mash. We're going to be speaking to Don LEDGER about the Shag Harbor incident, which has celebrated an anniversary this year. And then we're going to be speaking to Don Keating, talking about Bigfoot. Richard Jackson will be joining us in the second hour. He's an internationally acclaimed exorcist. We're going to be talking to Richard about biolocation and kindred phenomenon. And then the final 2 hours of tonight's show, X Zone Nation, we have Ellen West and Cynthia from Premier Psychics. And they're going to be with us for 2 hours doing mini readings for one and all who give us a call at 1-877-528-8255. Now, if you'd like to visit Premier Psychics' website and see what they're all about, no, not now, during the commercial breaks, it's www.premierpsychics.com. All right, my producer tonight is the one and only Spandex Kid in White Springs, Florida, my good buddy Superman. How you doing, Superman? Is everything okay in the big fortress up north? Yeah, 2 thumbs up. Yesterday I asked Superman, with his Superman suit being so impervious to everything, how does he keep it clean? His answer was this. Get ready for this, guys and gals. He gives it to his girlfriend, Supergirl, or is it Lois Lane, or is it Lana? This guy here has got more women than Carter has pills. When we come back from this 2-minute commercial break, John Horgan will be joining us to tell us the latest developments on the mass monster mash and mass UFO mash that happened this weekend in Watertown, Massachusetts. The mass UFO show is on Friday, October the 12th, and the mass monster mash is on Saturday, October the 13th. John Horgan and Don Ledger join us when we come back from this 2-minute commercial break as the X Zone continues, right here, live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. Welcome back, everyone. Now, this is a brand new Canadian artist who's out. His name is Carrie Blackwell, and the song that we're listening to is called Betsy. It's from his upcoming CD. And the funny part is, Carrie wrote it about a cow that was beamed up on board a spacecraft, and it is really a super song. Anyway, I'd like to thank Robin Moore, the executive producer of Isle of Skye Productions, for sending that. And Robin, keep the great Canadian artists coming away. Thanks. Welcome back, everyone. John Horgan and Don Ledger are with us now. John is the man behind the Mass Monster Mash and the Mass UFO Mash. And, of course, Don Ledger, the great Canadian Atlantic, Eastern Canadian ufologist, is with us tonight. And, gentlemen, welcome to the X Zone. Don, nice having you back so soon.
Hi. Nice talking to you, Bob.
Hey, John, how are you doing?
Good evening, Rob. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks, John. Tell us the latest news on the Mass Monster Mash and the UFO show.
Well, first of all, a very special thank you to you and your staff for all that the X Zone has done. We have over 14 states now represented of people attending the conference.
Wow.
We're having on Friday night the Mass UFO Show, which is ufoshow.org.
Mm-hmm.
The gentleman on the other end of the line, Don Ledger, specializes in maritime UFOs, flying triangles, and the Shag Harbor incident. And those are the 3 topics that we're covering on the UFO show. Don is going to cover the Black Triangles end of it, even though he co-authored the Shag Harbor incident book with a called Dark Object with Chris Stiles. And then Carl Feintz is coming up. He's going to be talking about USOs, so it dovetails nicely with the maritime theme of UFOs. And then we'll roll it out with Nancy Talbot. She's going to lead off things with spectacular crop circles. So that's our Friday night show, and then we can talk about the MASH later, probably.
I thank you very much for helping us bring the guests on that you're having at the Mass UFO show and the Mass Monster Mash. All I can say is I wish I could make it, because it sounds like it's going to be a super weekend. And it's going to be a very interesting weekend for people who just want to have a better understanding about what the topics are that you talk about, John, and that the speakers, including Don, will be talking about at the Mass UFO Show, as well as giving them the opportunity of talking to these people firsthand. So that's a great opportunity for all who is going to be there. And X Zone Nation, if you'd like information, are any tickets left, John?
I'm sorry, tickets left? Yes, we do have some tickets left. In fact, if anybody logs onto the website within the next hour, between 10 and 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, where we are, we'll give them a 2-for-1 deal. We have about 28 or 30 tickets left for tomorrow night, but the buzz is truly international.
That's great. Now, Don, you and I had the pleasure of chatting a couple of weeks ago, and there was a special on TV a couple of days ago about the museum that is opening up in Shag Harbor to draw focus not only on the Shag Harbor incident but other UFO sightings in eastern Canada. Now, since you and I last talked, Don, have there been any other sightings?
We're in Shag Harbor?
In the Atlantic provinces of Canada.
Yeah, actually, probably a couple. As a matter of fact, Stan Friedman had. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't Stan. It was somebody else down at the conference down, or the festival they had down in Shag Harbor. Reported a UFO to me. Matter of fact, as commonly happens at these get-togethers, people come to you with their UFO sightings, and some of them are really interesting. And I picked up a few, not always current, but some that happened years ago. One in particular, I took some names in my little notebook on Saturday afternoon from some people. There are 2 different people that had come to me. And then I promptly lost the thing the next day in a speedboat somewhere down in another county. Anyway, it's being mailed back to me. Fortunately, they found it.
My goodness.
But, it's the most recent one down here was another one down on the coast. It usually happens, and I think that probably has more to do with there's more people living around the coast than inland, and, so many fishing communities, and it's kind of a spooky little spot down there anyway, on the southeastern shores, they call it. And I'm not trying to insult anybody down there, but we seem to get a lot of reports of anomalies from down at that end of the province.
Is that because it is less populated than other spots?
Well, Nova Scotia is, there's only about 950,000 living here, about the same as, actually that shouldn't mean much, that's about the same as New Mexico or New Hampshire for population, or Vermont. Yeah, they're widely spaced communities. In some places you're driving for, maybe 20 minutes or more before you pop into another small, another little port or little fishing community or whatever. That's not to say the whole of Nova Scotia is like that, but down on that particular coast there's a lot of little fishing ports down there. Lobster fishery and halibut and scallops and so on and so forth.
Nova Scotia is a beautiful province, and the people are very friendly as well.
There's those lobsters again we talked about before, remember?
We'll have to do that, and we'll bring John along with us.
Yeah.
When you were on last time, you were also telling us about a UFO sighting that included radar targets.
Yeah, that was the. I'll be talking about that at the Mass UFO Show during my segment. That was the Cow Bay incident, as I call it. I should come up with another name maybe, but it just sort of comes to mind, the Cow Bay incident. I think John has already heard it. Do you recall this one, John, when you were up in Halifax at the conference? I talked about it for a little while there.
Yes, I do, and it was a spectacular encounter.
Yeah. But, yeah, to do with a massive object crossing over a woman's home down in Cow Bay while she was out watching the Perseids in August of 2002. And actually I wrote that up for the IUR, the International UFO Reporter, for KUFOS, and it was in there. The thumbnail sketch of that was, and I don't want to take up too much of your time there, is of her seeing this thing suddenly crossing over the sky, blocking out the star field as she was watching the showers about 2:15 in the morning, August the 13th, I believe it was. And the reaction both her and her dog and then in the general area seemed to have to it. I think I've mentioned this before, and I'm sure John's heard of it, and possibly yourself, Rob, about this peculiar peculiarity that seems to happen around some of these larger objects when they're down low, where sound seems to get
muffled,
negated.
Yeah.
Where people are talking to one another but can't hear one another. And as a matter of fact, Wendy Connors has one of those on one of her discs, faded discs. There was a report she had on there where, as they watched one of these things go over their house, nobody could hear one another while they were talking. And it wasn't because they were being drowned out by the sound of it. It was just sound seemed to suffer. Some kind of a cancellation going on there.
Well, I'm just wondering if it has anything to do with the same phenomenon where ducks quack will not echo.
Yeah, they apparently, but of course you still hear the quack.
Yes, that's
the
true.
The original quack.
Right.
Apparently they did a study on that, and what happens is what is assumed to be the first duck's part of the first quack is actually the echo that you're hearing.
Oh, really?
I heard that not long ago. I remember hearing about that. But I saw they did I think it was on Discovery Channel or Daily Planet or something, where they actually did it. They actually checked into that, and they actually did find the echo on there. But it sounds to the human as if it's all part of the first quack, but it's actually an echo. But anyway.
Well, thank you for that. Mystery solved.
That's another piece of science that I don't really need to get into right now, I guess.
All right. So, do you think it's possible then? This question's to both Don and John, that whatever is the propulsion for the UFO may have a dampening effect?
Go ahead, John.
I think that it might not be all that it's quacked up to be. You knew I was going there.
Yeah.
I think they have some sort of anti-gravity propulsion, if of course they do exist, if you want to go down that avenue.
Yeah.
And they are distorting the air and the atmosphere all around. Most of the encounters, when people have direct contact with these vehicles, they say there's no sound, even the crickets stop. So there is some sort of muffling sensation. I can't describe it. I'm not a scientist. That happens, especially at these low altitudes, these spectacular, as Don described, that one with a huge massive triangle comes over a backyard, something that you're not expecting, and everything goes silent.
Yeah. No, I don't know about in her case, there wasn't. She didn't have anybody to talk to except her dog, but there were some pheasant in cages next door on the other side of the fence that were always squawking out there. They make this little chirping noise that's going on all the time when they're in their nest, I guess.
All right, I just
noticed that had stopped.
I just have to interrupt here. We've got something here from the newsroom. CBC News is now declaring that Premier McGuinty wins the second majority government in the province of Ontario, but NDP gains in Ontario. Liberal leader Dalton McGuinty has won his second term as Ontario's premier with a majority government despite a slight reduction in Liberal seats. This is a CBC News projection. It makes the first time in 7 decades that the party has won a back-to-back majority since Mitch Hepburn secured 2 consecutive terms ending in 1937. McGuinty suffered repeated criticism for his broken promises throughout the election campaign. Early results showed the Progressive Conservatives had not increased their seat count. The winners appeared to be the NDP and the Green Party, with both gaining popular votes. So there you are. CBC is now reporting that Premier McGuinty has won his second term as Premier of the province of Ontario. Once again, that is from CBC News. All right, gentlemen. First of all, Don, I want to thank you very much for joining us tonight and for exchanging the information. Always great talking to you, and I look forward when you and I can share that lobster, and we'll bring John Horgan along to help with the crustaceans' shells. When we come,
hey, Don, have a safe drive. Rob Don is leaving very early tomorrow morning, driving to Boston, all the way from north of Halifax.
Mm-hmm. Well, you guys take care. John, you and I will be back on the other side talking to Don Keating about Bigfoot. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone, live and around the world from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. I'm Rob McConnell, and welcome to the X Zone, a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Today on the X Zone, Ashes to Ashes. Cremation was forbidden in Christian countries for centuries, but attitudes towards cremation began to change in the 19th century. Before modern systems of drainage were introduced, cemeteries represented a health hazard. In 1874, a group of doctors petitioned the Chamber of Deputies in Italy asking for the introduction of cremation. The Cremation Society of England was formed in the same year, but it was 1885 before the first publicly organized cremation took place. The Roman Catholic Church lifted its ban on the practice of cremation in 1964.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Hey now, hey now. Hey now, hey now. Have you ever seen such a beautiful night? I could almost kiss the stars for shining so bright. When I see you smile as I go, oh, 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 I would never want to miss this, 'cause in my heart I know what this is. Hey now, this is my dream.
And welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. I just received an email from our good friend Dr. Jason Rand, who, by the way, is going to be with us tomorrow night talking about Planet X and dwarf stars. He says, "Dear Rob, we've just downloaded the October issue of the X Chronicles, and I am completely and utterly blown away by how beautiful your publication is, how carefully constructed and beautifully illustrated it is, how it flows from subject to subject, and how well you presented yourself and this fabulous project. Needless to say, the article on brown dwarfs, along with its unbelievable illustration, suddenly becomes the best presented writing piece I have done this year. I am pleased and proud that you cared enough to include our piece in your publication, and hope that you will give me the commission to write further articles for your enlightening and informative publication. Most sincerely, Jason." Jason, go right ahead, buddy. I never say no to good articles. There was an article that I actually chucked out. I would not even put it in. It was some lady who was dressed up very scantily, and she had something to do with UFOs. I saw it, and I said, "No, this is an publication that goes into the hands of children. I don't want them seeing this crap." So I didn't put it in. Publisher's rights. Welcome back, everyone. If you did not get your copy of the X Chronicles, just send me an email, xzone@talkstarradio.com, like Colleen did, and say, "Rob, I didn't get my X Chronicles," and we'll send it to you with our compliments. 44 pages. It comes in a PDF file, and that's our way of saying thank you for being a member of the X Zone Nation. Great articles, great advertisers. Please get your copy today. Our second guest this first segment of the show is... let me see, Don Keating. He is with the Eastern Ohio Bigfoot Investigation Center, Tri-State Bigfoot Study Group. And Don, welcome back to the X Zone. Nice having you with us again.
Good evening, Rob, and thanks for having me back.
It's my pleasure. Now, John, before we go further talking about Bigfoot with Don Keating, I was wondering if you could tell our listeners the difference between what they can expect to see at the UFO show and the Mass Monster Mash.
Certainly, Rob. The Mass Monster Mash takes place on Saturday the 13th, the day after the UFO show, and it's got a more ghost and cryptozoological slant to it. It starts off at 6 o'clock as opposed to 7 o'clock on Friday night. Lauren Coleman, some say he's the greatest living cryptozoologist. I personally think at this point he's the greatest cryptozoologist who ever lived. He'll be speaking about the Dover Demon, a case that took place in April of 1977, right here in Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. Our friend Jeff Belanger, the best ghost author out around the world today, and he's a tremendous lecturer, is going to be lecturing on the world's scariest ghosts. Karen Mossy will close the program talking about EVP, electronic voice phenomena. Chris Balzano will be chatting up Lauren on phantom clowns. And then this man, who I first met in 1996 when I went out to Newcomers Town, Ohio, Don Keating, will be talking about his Bigfoot encounters and with a white Sasquatch.
Wow. Would a white Sasquatch be an albino Sasquatch, or would it be more of a Yeti?
I don't think it'd be either one, actually. I think you're just dealing with a creature that has a different type of hair color.
Only the hairdresser will know for sure.
Exactly.
So tell me, what's new in the world of Bigfoot, Don?
Well, every now and then there's an article that comes out about a video being shot or a still photo being taken or a series of footprints being discovered. And the most recent that I've heard of was a videotape allegedly shot down in New Mexico by a couple of individuals who live in the state of Tennessee. And they didn't even know they had the video at the time. They didn't know they had the video of the alleged Bigfoot at the time. And the first red flag that went up was it was in the desert of New Mexico. The second red flag, followed by the third and fourth and fifth, was that they're trying to get copyrights to it already. They're trying to get publication rights to it. They're trying to get this and that and every other right. And they're not showing it to anyone except people who apparently want to pay to see it. And this kind of stuff that comes out immediately and people try to make a buck off of it right away, it stinks, period. And I don't really look at it in a positive light. I don't think it's anything that maybe a big old cactus. I'm not quite sure. I haven't seen the video, and I certainly don't plan to pay dime number one to see it myself to begin with. There has been occasional sporadic activity in the state of Ohio. I believe there's been some activity over in Pennsylvania. Other than that, I think it's relatively quiet right now. We've just come off an extremely hot and extremely dry summer here in the Midwest. And hopefully we'll be getting some more reports soon. But at this point in time, it's rather quiet.
Don and John, are there reports coming from parts of the U.S. and Canada where there had been no Bigfoot sightings before?
John?
I can answer the Massachusetts part. The area that's known as the Bridgewater Triangle, which is a 200-square-mile area in southeastern Massachusetts. There have been numerous reports of Bigfoot emanating from Bridgewater, Massachusetts, back where I went to college. In fact, I lived in that area for a while, since 1970. The spectacular one being the police shaker, an officer sitting in a cruiser. He's taken out a neighborhood. He heard of a prowler. All of a sudden, something rocks the back of his cruiser. He sees this tall, hairy entity run around the side of a house and into the woods.
Wow. Now, there's a couple of beer manufacturers that are using Bigfoot in their commercials. Does this help or does this hinder the down-to-earth, hardcore investigation of Bigfoot?
I personally just sit back and laugh at them. I mean, there's got to be some humor in everything that you do, and if I were to take this seriously 100% of the time, what hair that I have remaining would be all pulled out by now.
Or like me, all white.
There you go. No, I don't think it hinders it very much at all. And if anything, it might just continue to put the word Bigfoot into the general public's mind and say, oh, yeah, there's Bigfoot. Hey, I know Uncle Joe down the street that claimed to have seen one 10 years ago. Let's contact somebody about it. I don't think it hinders it. I think it's just like with a certain beef jerky commercial or a series of commercials that are out there as well. Those are hilarious, and I think they're kind of cool.
1-877-528-8255 is toll free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii. My name's Rob McConnell. Our special guest this hour, the first guest is John Horgan. He's the gentleman behind the Mass UFO Mash that is being held this coming Friday, October the 12th at 6 p.m. The doors open for the Mass UFO Mash at the Hibernian Hall in Watertown, Massachusetts. If you'd like more information, the website is www.ufoshow.org. And he's also the organizer of the Mass Monster Mash. That is the next night, same location, doors open at 7 o'clock. And if you'd like to get information or tickets for either one of these two events, for the Mass UFO Show, www.ufoshow.org, or for the Mass Monster Mash, www.massmonstermash.org. Now, Don, have you ever seen Bigfoot?
I've seen an animal that fits the description of Bigfoot on two occasions. One was in September of 1985, 4 miles south of Newcomerstown, Ohio, and the other was in November of 1987. Midway between Newcomerstown and Coshocton County, or Coshocton, Ohio. Mm-hmm. And in both instances, we were in alleged active areas. The one in November of '87, we were just out there hiking around because some unusual anomalies had been sighted, like glowing eyes. We wanted to see what the conditions were, how high off the ground these eyes were, and if they could have been just something like a raccoon. And so at a distance of about 400 yards away, we spotted this thing come up over the backside of a hill, walk up a ridge, and then walk back across the backside of the hill once again. And we captured the entire thing on audio tape. I actually had a microcassette recorder in my pocket recording at that time. And we captured every word on audio tape. And I still have that today, and I've incorporated it into a production that I've done. In 1985, we were in an area just outside of Newcomerstown where alleged sightings, track discoveries had been repeatedly taking place, and it was kind of hard to believe that stuff could take place that much. And I had just been into the Bigfoot research field for just over a year at the time, and we had been playing a recording that was an alleged replica of Bigfoot sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And just after 10 p.m. on September 15th of '85, two individuals walked down the north side of the property, down a hill. The first one, two guys on a barn, the exposed second floor of the barn. They heard it come up to within several yards of them. They were so scared to death, they didn't even want to turn around and look. They were just scared of what they would see. And the one that walked into the open field of goldenrod weed is the one that I did see. And this thing was twice as tall as the goldenrod weed, which was at least 4 feet tall. It made a very clear path when it walked through the goldenrod weed towards a chicken pen. It stopped for just a split second when it got to near the chicken pen and walked away directly straight away from me, about twice as fast as it had walked toward the chicken pen. And it was very light in color, probably white, and I can say that for a fair amount of certainty due to the fact there was a full moon overhead. And it did leave, like I said, a very clear trail through the goldenrod weed when it walked through the area. I've always said my life would be a lot simpler if I had never seen this thing, because it would be a lot easier for me to be much more skeptical. But I have seen it, and there's no doubt as to what I have seen, and that's that.
Tell me, what do we know about the social habits of Bigfoot?
Not a whole lot, to be quite honest about it. I mean, everything that we know, or think we know, has pretty much been theory or speculation. I mean, first off, we don't even know that the thing exists scientifically. The scientific community as a whole doesn't accept the possible existence or the existence of it as it is. And so it's everything that's being discovered or allegedly discovered or whatever the case may be is being done for the most part by amateurs such as myself. We go out there, we try to discover, or find out what these things may be eating on, where they may be sleeping, where they may be traveling, things of this sort. And just when you think you have the answer, something is thrown into the gears. It just knocks you totally off kilter. So, I can say for a fair amount of certainty that a lot of people are seeing what they believe to be a Bigfoot. Usually when they do see it, there's only one of them. But it's been speculated in the past that when there is one in the area, there is another one very close nearby.
Has anyone ever found a nesting place that Bigfoot stays? And if so, what do they find in the area?
And as far as nesting areas, I know of a certain case here in Ohio where some researchers discovered what they called a nest or a hut, not too far from Akron, Ohio, in Summit County, back in the mid-1990s. And they discovered some areas that were smashed down outside of this nesting area. It just looked like a cocoon. And who knows what made that? I mean, they're speculating that a Bigfoot did it. Okay, well, maybe a Bigfoot did do it.
Right.
The problem is they didn't find any footprints. They didn't find any hairs that proved to be unknown. So
it could it have been a bear?
That's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like the old saying goes. It could have been just about anything. And the problem is, they won't readily openly admit to this, but I found out that this thing was discovered on private property. And so I think that people who own the property probably wouldn't be too ready to admit that there could be a Bigfoot nest on their property.
And once again, I would imagine the same rules go to Bigfoot researchers as to ghost investigators and researchers and other people who investigate the paranormal. Respect private property. Don't go on private property unless you have the permission of the owner.
Absolutely. From day one when I started doing this research until today, and another 10, 20, 25 years down the road, yeah, don't run the risk of getting a rear end full of buckshot.
Don Keating, thank you very much for joining us, Don. Always a pleasure. Look forward to having you on the show in the future. Stay with us, John Horgan, because when we come back, we're going to do our summary of what people can see, what they can learn, and what they can do when they attend this weekend in Watertown, Massachusetts, the Mass UFO Mash and the Mass Monster Mash. John Horgan and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break as we continue live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network, X-Zone TV, and on shortwave from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
I know what this is. Hey now, this is what dreams are made of. Hey now.
I'm the swans, what you think I've seen? Something strange, you know. Sasquatch sitting on the cypress knee, and he was talking to Moccasin Joe. Well, the party they gonna have out in the St. John Swamps. The Sasquatch doing a brand new dance, and they called it the Bigfoot Stomp.
All right, Exo Nation, you still have time to get yourselves to the Mass UFO Mash and the Mass Monster Mash happening this weekend in Watertown, Massachusetts. If you'd like to find out more about the Mass Monster Mash, www.massmonstermash. It happens this coming Saturday, October the 13th. Doors open at 7 p.m. And the Mass UFO Mash will be happening this coming Friday night, October the 12th. And doors open at 6 o'clock. If you'd like more information, visit www.ufoshow.org. Billy in Connecticut, I believe. Welcome to the show.
How you doing, Rob?
Hey, Bill. How are you?
I'm doing great.
You want to speak to John Horgan? He's with us. Go right ahead, Bill.
Hey, John. How are you doing tonight?
Good evening, Bill.
Yeah. I'm wishing you wonderful, great luck at your conference this year and stuff. Sorry I can't make it and stuff. But
thank you, Bill.
Are you gonna put it on DVD once it's all finished and stuff?
That's what our plan is. Yes, it'll be released in 2008.
That's good.
All right, Bill. Have you had any reports of Bigfoot with the different organizations that you're part of?
I've seen a couple reports on various forums and stuff in the Yahoo groups about Bigfoot, but nothing substantial yet. There's always stuff happening on forums and stuff.
Well, you let us know if you get something really hot, okay, Bill?
Okay.
You take care of yourself, Bill. Always nice talking to you.
Later,
Bye-bye.
John.
Take care, Bill. See ya.
John, what do you think about the results that the reports coming out of Scotland that the Loch Ness Monster may be no more?
Well, they say that every 10 years. I went over there in 1997, and I lapped the loch more times than the thirsty dog. I just like it over there. I love the folklore. And even if Nessie went away, you still have over 100 lakes, including your own Lake Okanagan, Winnipeg, Winnipegosis, where serpentine anomalies have been seen. I don't think Nessie's dead. I don't think she's dead. She's still around. She's just hiding.
It's either that or she went to the pub one night and she's still recovering from a monster-sized headache.
This happened. These things happen in Edinburgh and Glasgow, etc. You understand, Rob?
Yes. I wonder if Nessie wears a kilt.
Well, when she gets up in the morning, if she doesn't have all her faculties after that night at the pub, she may end up with a kilt or a skirt. Who cares?
Oh, heaven. John, thank you very much for joining us these past couple of weeks, and to you and all the other members of MASH UFO and MASH Monster MASH, best of luck. Keep the great work coming, John, and anything we can do next year to help, just let us know.
Thank you so much, Rob, for all of your efforts. Bless you.
You take care. Say hi to everybody at the Mass Monster Mash and Mass UFO Mash for me, will you?
Yes.
John Horrigan, he is the organizer of the Mass UFO Mash, www.ufoshow.org, and the Mass Monster Mash, www.massmonstermash.org, happening this weekend in Watertown, Massachusetts. By the way, if you're going there, make sure that Jeff Belanger does not see your chicken wings or know where you keep your stash of brown bottles. When we come back from this commercial break and the news at the top of the hour, 6.5 minutes past, I'll be joined by my good buddy Richard P. Jackson, if not the world's one of the top 5 exorcists in the world today. We're going to be talking about biolocation and kindred phenomenon. 1-877-528-8255 is the toll-free number if you'd like to join us. Ask any questions to Richard about exorcism, poltergeist, ghost hauntings, things that go bump in the night. Or if you'd like to ask him about kindred spirits or biolocation. When we come back from the news, Richard P. Jackson joins me, and still to come on tonight's show are 2 psychics from Premier Psychics doing psychic readings for one and all who give us a call after the midnight hour at 1-877-528-8255. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone on Talkstar. Don't go away. We'll be back.